What's up, my boomers? It's me, Melanie Mac, here on my new channel, Melanie Mac Go Boom. Thank you for watching and hanging out with me today. So, for today's video, dude, I'm trying not to burp. Why do I almost burp on videos? Maybe I ate too much beef jerky. For today's video, I'm going to talk about this article I stumbled on from GameSpot. Now, Phil Spencer from Xbox apparently wants gamers to treat developers with more dignity and respect. So, yeah, this got a lot of comments. So, let me go ahead and read this article, and then I'm going to dive into those comments and then share some of my opinions on that matter. So, this would be good times. So, here we have here. After receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at DICE 2022 last week, Xbox CEO Phil Spencer commented on how the gaming community should treat developers with dignity and respect. Keep playing, keep using your voice, understand the power of creativity, the power of community, Spencer said to IGN. And the other thing I would just say is, let's respect creators. I think it's very often that the creations can be kind of weaponized and used in battles between platforms and other things. I look at everybody who is brave enough to create something, put it out. Have their peers, the industry players, play and analyze and talk about what they do. And let's just celebrate the fact that so many great games are coming out from so many creators. And realize that's such a foundation for where this industry is going to go. This isn't the first time that Spencer has spoken about toxicity in gaming, having previously discussed how Microsoft would like to help get rid of bad actors in the online gaming landscape by creating a multi-network program that could extend Xbox bans to networks from other companies. Okay. While this idea would be a hard one to achieve, the alternative would be a system that allows players to bring their banned user list with them to another platform. I don't know how I feel about this. In case you missed it, the 25th annual DICE Awards once again honored some of the best games that had been released in the previous year. After winning big at the Game Awards, It Takes Two took the prestigious Game of the Year award. I still don't understand that one, but hey. All right, all that kind of stuff. So, this is where it gets juicy. So, GameSpot posted this, and then let's look at the comments here. So, this guy says the big studios to pull gamers to Xbox and Game Pass. And then we have here, how about treating gamers with respect by not releasing broken games with microtransactions, or is that too much of a brutal expectation? Which I do agree with. Also, I want to point out the fact that look how many developers and stuff, like when it comes to Tomb Raider, for example, and games like that are creating games that have existing fan bases, and they want to make it completely unrecognizable. They want to change everything about it. They want to completely, snub the fans and not give the fans what they want, but then they get upset that the fans have criticisms. And when it comes to, I think everybody deserves respect, obviously, and I don't think any developer deserves any sort of unalive threats or anything harsh like that, however. But granted, criticisms, I mean, you're messing with a lot of people's fandoms and things of that nature. It's going to happen, and we take it personally sometimes. Now, just look at something like Elden Ring, for example. It's almost nothing but praise. So this ain't people just mindlessly hating on developers for no reason. A lot of times it's mishandled stuff that gets a lot of this backlash. Them releasing broken games. As said in the comment earlier. Them releasing games that are broken, unfinished, glitched, messed up. And people are paying their money for it. It's one thing to just, if you're just creating stuff, oh, here, look at this artwork I made, and someone's just being mean to you because they don't like how you drew it. That's a lot different than creating something that people are paying a lot of money for. They're waiting years for it, and they're paying a lot of money for it. Well, especially when it involves money. Hey, criticisms are allowed. Okay, them first. We used to treat them with dignity and respect until around 2007 when they started treating us like breathing garbage. Yeah, basically breathing ATM machines. Okay? These developers want to rush games out, want to rush unfinished games out, want to throw in predatory microtransaction systems. Okay, not all of them, but some. And they want to, like I said earlier, make things unrecognizable for the fans. But, you know, when they get any kind of backlash, oh, that it's the fans' fault. I don't think it's ever a good idea. You know, I like Phil Spencer enough of what I know of him. I don't know him personally, so I don't have any personal issues with the guy. But I do think that this is very short-sighted kind of attitude to have. And I can't stand it when developers or, you know, producers, especially the big wigs, big suits, big money dudes, want to insult their fan bases. Or they want to blame their fan bases if something doesn't sell well. Or, in this case, blame their fan bases for any backlash. You know, how about you look at the fact that why is these backlash even happening in the first place? You know, maybe there's some sort of responsibility to be had here from the studios at hand. So yeah, this guy goes, no kidding, so many people act like little brats every time a bug exists. I wouldn't say that just for a bug. Now, if something's broken, that's different. They ain't making Super Mario Bros. They're making real environments with split-second data transactions for real-time players. Bugs are going to happen, but you don't have to be a jerk about it. I mean, there's a big difference between a game having some bugs and a game being completely broken, but okay. And consumers are supposed to care. Do you go check on the cook at McDonald's? No. I could give two craps about what they are expected. They get paid to do so. Have more than enough resources to do so. And it's way more than bugs that most AAA titles, that make most AAA titles bad nowadays. I agree with that. So many people are misinformed about how much of a say regular employees have. Yeah, I do agree with that. All the crappy decisions are done by publishers and execs. I also agree with that. And that's why I've said in a lot of my videos regarding like Tomb Raider criticisms. That's not, I know some developers can be offended by that, but that none of my, when I go off, dude, like when I go off, it's never at the developers just doing their jobs. It's at the people, the higher ups, the publishers, the executives that are making these decisions and forcing these on them. You know, when things are unfaithful and that kind of stuff too, like with Tomb Raider, when they're not accurate and they're not accurate with canon and what the fans have liked and all that kind of stuff. Hey, I ain't blaming just the regular devs. I ain't blaming, you know, them. They're just doing their job. So yeah, I think there is definitely a point to be had there for sure that I can agree with. Render says, you know, it saddens me that people in the replies don't get it. Majority of the time, it's the publishers. Yeah, he's basically saying the same thing. Devs are just the workers. I mean, that is true. That's completely true. But in terms of people having issues with things and there being some backlash and all that kind of stuff, what do you expect, man? Because now more than ever are games completely incomplete. It's to the point now to where they know they can drop a game and it not be up to par, but they know, oh, we can just patch it and make it that way. And so there's some games that are coming out extremely flawed, and then we're getting the good versions of the game a year later, when in reality, the game should have just not even released in the first place until it was properly, you know, ready. So that's my opinion on it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Let's go ahead and read some comments of the day. So Black Dragon says, I take being called a boomer as a compliment. Much better than being called a millennial. And it's funny because some people get so salty that I do my intros and say, what's up, my boomers? I think some people don't get what I'm doing either, because I'm not literally calling everybody a boomer, saying that they're born in that time. I'm not calling anybody old. It's a play on words because my channel is called Melanie Mac Go Boom. That's why. And it's funny. But for some reason, I'm not a boomer. I'm a Gen Z. It's like, just okay. But also I can kind of agree with this. Now, I'm a millennial. Dude, some of our generation are certainly a bunch of wusses. That's for sure. Godzilla Mike says, I love your testimony on faith. It's so true. My life has turned around so much since I became a man of faith. This last year has given me a lot of demoralizing experiences, but I have gotten so many opportunities that are better. I don't think I could have done it without my faith in God and trust that it's under control. I am glad you are nurturing that relationship. Thank you, Godzilla Mike. That's so nice of you. And I do 1000% agree with you. I've said in other videos in my life, it just seems like things all fall into places they should a lot more whenever I'm actively, in the Word and reading my Bible and praying and actively strengthening my faith, more so than when I'm just coasting. Now, not to say everything is ever going to be perfect, but even the hard stuff is much easier to get through. That's for sure. All right. Scarlett says, I hate the new Lara. Original is relatable, lol. I am a gym girl, and OG Lara always inspired me to have muscles, not the itsy bitsy zero character new Lara. And I agree. I 1000% agree. If you look at classic Lara, especially Tomb Raider 1 Lara, she's designed with like a six pack. You could see through her shirt. I know that the textures and graphics and stuff weren't up to par compared to like now. I mean, for its time, it was good. But yeah, I mean, they clearly did make her an athletic woman. All right. Pensive Wolf says, I really like Angelina Jolie in the Lara Croft movies, but I always kind of thought that maybe Elizabeth Hurley could have been a better fit. Problem is, she's never been much of an action star in movies. It's funny because I do think that they did consider her for the role, or they wanted her for the role, and then ended up landing on Angelina. I will say, I do think Elizabeth Hurley definitely has the aesthetic of that classic Lara, especially her figure was very, obviously if she would have like worked out for the role and stuff, then she could have more muscle and all that kind of stuff, but she's pretty gifted. So I think she definitely had the physique, the start of it, or the natural part that you would need. So I will say that. Now, again, like you said, though, with her not being much of an action star in movies, I don't know how she would have pulled off Lara's attitude. So for that reason, I am glad they did land on Angelina Jolie. I do think that Angelina already embodies Lara Croft, and her look is very similar, especially with like her facial features. But her personality, dude, I just don't know how anybody in the history of time or in whatever comes in the future, I don't know how anybody could embody Lara Croft in personality, especially as well as Angelina. She just slayed it. So I will give her that. Now, I obviously have a lot of issues, and I've gone over those in past videos, but yeah. Now, those who are watching the comments, if you're like, dude, on the last few videos, it hasn't been from the new videos. That's because as I film this, these are pre-recorded because my mom, if you're watching this, it means my mom's visiting me today. She's been visiting me over the weekend, and so I had to get prepped and have stuff ready so that I could spend time with her and not have to worry about filming stuff while she's here. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the verse of the day. I picked Proverbs 12:15. It says, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. And I wanted to mention something or find something in regard to being able to take advice and listen to others and stuff like that. With today's topic, I felt it relevant. So yeah, it's hard. It's not always easy. And I'll say that's something that I don't always take your criticism the best either. So I do have issues with that. And that's something that I actively put a lot of work into, because I'm stubborn. I can be very stubborn sometimes, and so I don't always take criticism the best, or told to do something different, or this, that, and the other. My initial reaction is, but it's something that I actively work on and try to improve. So, and I've noticed whenever I do try to listen and work on that, I do notice that it does help. It does help me grow as a human being, and it helps me to be smarter. It helps me to do things better. Now, obviously, not everybody who gives you advice is going to know what the crap they're talking about, but that's where it just helps to it helps to think and know, okay. There's been times too where I've had like a knee-jerk reaction where I was like, dude, what? And I was like stubborn about somebody trying to give me unsolicited advice. And then later, after I kind of think about it, and I think, you know what, maybe they did have a point. So even if my initial reaction isn't always good, sometimes I will think on it. I'll think, okay, and I'll go and try it. And sometimes it works out for the better. So Yeah, I think it's something important that I try to actively work on because it's one of my weaknesses. And I think it's something we all could benefit from. So, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you again tomorrow. And until then, go boom.